Who knows what kind of shenanigans we'll get into.
We're going to be shenaniganing it up.
Oh, come on. Shenanigans aplenty. Did you have a pre-show pool?
Not today.
It's oppressive out there, isn't it?
It's
freezing in here, but outside apparently it's 90 degrees.
Yeah. I'll probably get out there after work. I don't have a show tonight after work, so I can get out there and flop around for a little bit. But I spent a lot of time in the pool yesterday.
Oh, you did?
And so
you wanted to take a break?
I was like, you know what? I'm good for today. I got the air conditioner pumping in my condo, so it's nice and temperate there.
I mean, it's not going to be much cooler at night, you know what I mean?
No, I don't mind it being cool. I just mostly just was like, I was out in the sun a lot yesterday. So
sure. For Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do something with your dad?
No.
You didn't?
No, we're going to do something Friday.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to have more one-on-one time with my parents. Like, when they have like all the extended family over and stuff, it's just like, I don't enjoy it as much.
When everybody's angling for time.
Yeah. So, like, I'm going to take him out to lunch on Friday, just kind of like what I did with my mom.
Mm-hmm. All right. Does he pick the place or do you pick the place?
He can pick.
Yeah?
Yep.
He's on the hook to tell you.
So why not? No,
Dad, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
I'll get the check. I'm kidding. You're getting your check. That's what I meant. No, we got the email this morning that they were working on. I guess they've been having some HVAC issues here, and so there are some studios here that have been very, very warm, and other ones have been very, very cold for the most part. This studio is usually very chilly. I do like to keep it chilly, but even more so than usual. And we get the email that I guess they're doing some work on it or something. And I saw a couple of guys here. I was working late one night last week, and there were a couple of guys here that I assume were HVAC guys because they had these giant ladders, and they're up there, and they're looking at duct work and things like that. So I'm like, these must be the HVAC dudes. But for the time being, it's I don't know what. It's pretty chilly in here, but it's 88 degrees outside, so that's fine. You know, I was looking at one of those extreme heat maps, just for entertainment purposes only. And usually when there's all kinds of weird weather, whether it's wintertime or whether it's, any kind of strange weather, Northeast Ohio is usually exempt from that. For the most part, we just kind of operate in this little area where we kind of thread the needle. Not this one, boy. It's like parked right over Ohio and Indiana and parts of Pennsylvania, whatever. So the map I was looking at was extreme heat risk, extreme record-breaking heat. Maybe there's a sliver along the lake that might be a little bit more temperate, but not to the degree that anybody would notice it, because the entire rest of the area on these heat maps are dark purple. And you say to yourself, well, Alan, purple's the color of royalty. Nevertheless, that's what this map I was looking at this morning was showing me. People who live, do you know where the Ohio Valley is? You hear a lot of people refer to the Ohio Valley, but also a lot of people can't necessarily zero in on where that area is. And it's mostly, it's basically like the rest of Ohio south of us and into southwestern Pennsylvania and Kentucky, all those kinds of areas. There, it's going to be real bad there as well. And so everybody now is worried about heat domes for the rest of the week, except for our bureau chiefs in Montana, by the way. And this is how weird things are getting. Montana snow.
Oh.
Not the porn star from the mid-'90s. You might recall Montana Snow did some good work between like 93 and 97. Remember her?
Yeah.
Did you ever see it?
17,000 movies.
She sure did. in that
years.
Short period of time, yeah. 12 inches for snow was her most famous one.
Hey.
But Montana Snow. Now they're going to be getting snow tonight or last night and tonight. They're getting snow there in the Butte, Montana area. Heavy, wet snow, 4 inches. And then, obviously, in the higher terrains, they're getting around a foot of snow. So while the rest of the country is dealing with heat, when you get way up there in Montana, parts of northern Minnesota, they are getting snow. But Chicago, Columbus, Pittsburgh, D.C., New York, where Mary is, It's going to be very, very warm all week. So, again, I certainly don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I think maybe we've talked about this in the past where we have people submit themselves to be invited to a Bill Squire pool day. And listen, I realize that that's your backyard, and we've talked about it before. And I don't know if that idea really ever got off the ground, but it might be worth reconsidering. I mean, you pull somebody's name out of a hat.
We had some people do submissions, and they were pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's my house.
Yeah, it's my house. I mean, it's my backyard, and you want to chill. You don't want to be entertaining people. You don't have to want to be on the clock. One of the forecasters with the National Oceanographic Association, whatever that, or National Weather Service, one of those two, he goes, we might have variations of 1 or 2 degrees, but it's not going to mean a hill of bean. I'm just going to read his quote. It's not going to mean a hill of beanhole beans during this heat wave. What the hell does that mean?
What is a... Huh?
Isn't it a hill of beans? It's very simple. It's old-timey, but the
I've
phrase...
never heard this phrase.
The phrase, it's not going to amount to a hill of beans. This guy goes, it's not going to mean a hill of beanhole beans during this heat wave. What the hell are beanhole? I mean, again, I know cornhole, that's a game. We called it bags growing up. Cornhole is a thing. Well, it's a game and it's something you might do if you've had too much to drink. But a hill of beanhole beans, I'm not hip to that at all. So maybe people...
Beanhole beans.
Well, that's what this guy said.
What's the beanhole one? I never even heard... Or the bean hill.
You've never heard it's not going to amount to a hill of beans.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard that.
Never,
okay, well, it's old-timey.
Yeah.
I assume the implication being that a hill of beans would still be very, very small. Bill, they don't ever... It's all relative. They don't ever specify. You could have a massive hill of beans. You could have millions of beans, but I think the phrase comes from the fact that beans are small, and so a hill of them wouldn't be much. So you've never heard of a hill of beans?
I've never heard of a hill of beans.
Okay. Well, then you're doubly confused because I'm just confused by this guy.
By the beanhole beans.
By the beanhole.
Beanhole sounds...
Well, beanhole is something. It's like a dish that's from Boston or something. It's baked bean adjacent. And so maybe this guy was... maybe this is a guy in New England. I have to assume that. There will not be a hill of beanhole beans during this heat wave. It's got to be a guy from New England. But anyway, there's no shortage of articles on how to make sure that you don't get heat stroke and all that kind of stuff. And, of course, one of the big indicators is people who are very, very heavy. And there's a lot of those people. So you just got to be careful. Alan, I just got home from Vegas. It was 109 all week. Ooh. This is nothing. Dry heat, bull shrimp. Well, right, but that's Vegas. I mean, if you come home to Ohio and it's just a few degrees cooler than Vegas, that's weird. I mean, that's a very, very hot week, right? When I was in Vegas, it was 113 degrees. I got to about 104 overnight. That was the first time I went to Vegas a few years ago. And so, because you associate nighttime with things cooling down, and that wasn't the case. You go, I mean, the sun's not out anymore. It's completely dark. I thought maybe all the lights from Vegas were keeping it hot. I was like, now I get it. It's so hot because of all the heat generated from them lights, because it's so bright there, because they got all the lights on the signs, but probably not. Bean holes were literally where they dig a hole and cook them, somebody says. Okay. Has Bill never seen Casablanca?
I've never seen Casablanca.
Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, if that's your one reference point,
I've tried to watch it.
There's probably a lot of people who haven't seen Casablanca. You have tried to watch it.
I've tried to watch it. I just fall asleep.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
It's quiet. Like, it's just... maybe I'll give it another shot.
It's it's the 40s.
Yeah.
That's a very different cinematic experience. Mm-hmm. The 40s. Beanhole beans.